Welcome to this Elco lighting presentation of Lighting 101, 5 tips for lighting great interiors. First, lighting is about creating contrast and not necessarily brightness. Good lighting has very little to do with how bright you can make a room. Often, we desire much less light to create a more serene or social environment, even when the area to be lit is a workspace. Bad lighting can cause anxiety, headaches, and can interrupt the very activity a person's trying to accomplish. I often start training meetings with every ceiling light turned on, then describe this issue, and I adjust the lighting down to a more comfortable level, with the lighting focused specifically for the people in the room. The sense of ease and comfort in the room is palpable. Imagine if you're out camping and it's the middle of the night. How much light do you need to read? Not much. You only need enough light to make the white page stand out from the dark lettering and your dark surroundings. You're really only looking for a comfortable contrast, and if you moved the lantern too close and that lantern was too bright, it would cause uncomfortable glare. So good lighting is about selecting the specific surfaces, areas, and items that you want to stand out from the rest of the space without causing glare. Focus light on your work surfaces and your dramatic decor pieces. The remaining space needs a soothing level of illumination to prevent dark areas from having so much contrast that it causes eye strain. The best way is to provide ample, diverse sources of light throughout a room and use adjustable controls like remotes, dimmers, and switches to provide plenty of options for what to light up, how much, and when. If you provide a wide range of appropriate options, you won't have to get too specific and scientific about what is necessary and exactly right. But for those of you who really love to dig into specifics, lighting recommendations for specific areas are given in foot candles. Normal residential fixtures provide about 6 to 12 foot candles of ambient room light. A reading or table lamp next to a person will provide about 20 to 50 foot candles. A task light specifically meant to light a delicate or detailed workspace will deliver at about 50 to 100 foot candles. Commercial offices need 30 to 50 foot candles of light. Next, to keep your eyes from needing to adjust frequently, which causes eye strain, you want to keep task surfaces no more than 3 times as bright as any adjacent surfaces, and no more than 10 times as bright as remote walls and surfaces. You can see how this can get terribly complex, and we haven't even yet covered how to calculate the foot candles from a specific fixture. Let's run through this really quick, and if people want to go back later and review, the information will be here for that answer. So we calculate foot candles based on how many lumens the fixture produces, times the percentage of light that the walls probably reflect, dark colors reflect less than light colors, times the percentage of light reflected or emitted from the fixture. So let's say we have a bulb producing 1200 lumens in a 10 by 10 room, and the fixture traps 20% of the light, or 80% is delivered to the room because it has an amber shade. And the walls and ceiling are beige or light wood, so they only reflect 70% of the light back into the room. For this 100 square foot room, the calculation would be 1200 times 80% times 70% divided by 100 square feet, and it would turn out to be 7 foot candles. You can see that this is somewhat of an estimate, and it's needlessly complex for most purposes. So you see, it's much easier to simply provide plenty of light along with control options, and you'll have all situations covered, even if someone changes the furniture later, buys different shades, or paints the walls a different color. Tip number 2 is that too much light in one place can be as bad as having no light at all. Every house on your block probably uses outdoor bulbs equivalent to a 60-watt old bulb, about 800 lumens. When you walk up to someone's front door at night, a 60-watt bulb nearby is plenty of light to illuminate the porch and stairs. If someone has a larger porch with longer stairs, they'll want more light. The natural inclination is to grab a 100-watt bulb, about 1200 lumens. Is that all fixed? No. The brighter the light in any one direction will cause pupils to dilate for anyone facing the light source. So now we have surfaces that have far too much contrast that cause glare, and that's a real problem. Everything actually becomes darker for the approaching guest, except the annoyingly blinding mini sun next to the door. Suddenly, the walls look black and the only option is to look away from the light source, which is presumably where you actually wanted the people to look. The far better option is to provide light to more surfaces and areas. This eliminates the problem of glare and will provide a more functional and beautiful space. In this specific example, the right solution for a front porch would be to provide post lights for the yard areas, step lights for stairways, and perhaps a few recessed or ground lights to highlight walls or landscape features. If you're trying to light a whole room by making one ceiling light fixture brighter, you'll be creating a dull, even light over your entire design. Nothing will have the dramatic focus your design elements deserve. If you're using one floor lamp as a corner lighthouse to brighten a room, you'll have glaring light when you face toward it and complete darkness everywhere else. Increasingly so as you try to fix the problem by making that same floor lamp even brighter. Interiors need lighting beyond a simple flush mount fixture in the center of the room. You need floor lamps in dark corners, wall sconces or picture lights around artwork and dark walls, table lamps near seating. Those are all welcome additions to a bedroom or a family room. In the end, the best lighting for any room will have multiple options for setting scenes using different combinations of light sources on controls that will allow adjustment for brightness levels. When the needs of the room change, so will the illumination. Lighting tip number 3 is that LED is the way to go, but you need to know what you're getting into. Over the course of a century of artificial light, until recently the only change in technology was the addition of fluorescent light sources back in the 50s. In the last few decades, we've been introduced to the beginning of LED fixtures and bulbs. Make no mistake, this is new technology, and we will go through a lot of changes and adjustments, and maybe even entirely new technologies in the near future. LED bulbs and fixtures are supposed to last a long time. LED does provide plentiful light, with extreme reductions in energy uses, so this technology is the right way to go. If you're using LED bulbs, in most cases you're going to be fine. If one bulb goes out or doesn't give the right quality of light, you can change the bulb. Even if there are 3 or 4 bulbs in the fixture, you're still fine. But if you're dealing with a retail or office space with 20 fixtures or a chandelier with 20 little LED bulbs, it's time to be ready for some new surprises. And if you're dealing with fixtures that have permanently integrated LED panels, you'll need to understand what you're investing in and be prepared for the idea of obsolescence and disposable fixtures. Perhaps a year or 2 from now, a single LED bulb will burn out in a fixture or a space with 20 bulbs or more. The replacement LED bulbs are available in a wider range of colors, quantities, and brightness levels than incandescent and fluorescent bulbs ever were. It's fully possible that the LED bulbs produced years from now will not match the years-old bulbs in the fixture. At best, it will be difficult to find that matching bulb. If it'll be important for those later bulbs to match perfectly, you may want to buy extra bulbs now so they'll have the best possibility of matching well. LED fixtures with integrated panels are a different consideration. These panels are meant to last a long time, and it's simply not feasible to offer repair services for those items. Just like a flat panel TV or a computer printer, these technologies are simply meant to be replaced when broken. But light fixtures are changing from items you could previously hand down to your grandchildren as antiques. Today, these items are disposable high-tech items. These aren't fixtures you're going to someday give to Goodwill or send off with your kids to college. You're investing in these items for their appeal today and the near future. Be ready and willing to part with them and to replace them when some of these fixtures don't work as long as you expected. So if you're selecting unique and expensive sets of fixtures, consider the replacement and repair options for those items within the set that may not be available in a few years. If an LED panel in one of 10 outdoor light fails, will you be willing to replace that one fixture with a different style? Or would you have been better off choosing fixtures with replaceable bulbs instead? Lighting tip number 4 is to go ahead and hire an electrician to add the right fixtures, outlets, and controls. If someone is hiring an interior designer, The cost of new furniture or labor to implement the design will dwarf any electrician costs to put in a junction box, wall switch, or a plug. Invest in a good electrician to finish the lighting design right. The right choice isn't to try to find a battery-powered fixture because you don't have a wall outlet nearby. The right choice isn't a pull-chain flush mount fixture because there's no wall switch in an old house. The right choice isn't to swag a fixture 10 feet over a table or to put a chandelier on a track because there isn't any ceiling junction box. Install the right fixtures in the right places with the right controls. The reason we no longer have chandeliers with pull chains and nobody makes a good battery-powered table lamp is because there are better options. Our fifth tip today is to have a sufficient lighting budget and plan from the beginning. I've seen plenty of plans where designers redo an entire room with tens of thousands of dollars worth of furniture, appliances, and beautiful decor pieces, then leave the lighting up to the existing recessed lights. This is especially true in kitchens. But even other major rooms often need more than just a simple swap out of the existing lamps or ceiling light. Just because a room has one junction box in the ceiling doesn't mean the project's complete and beautiful by picking a different chandelier to go there. A kitchen with a beautiful new $80,000 stove is often lit with a built-in hood lamp or a single recessed light. Gorgeous backsplash tiles are often left to be lit by an under-cabinet light chosen at the end of the project as an afterthought. If you've been involved in a project you intend to be spectacular when complete, you need to budget a significant dollar amount for supplemental lighting fixtures and solutions that properly illuminate your design. Don't get to the most important final step and be left with no money to shine light on your beautiful work. To give you 2 rules of thumb, you should be spending at least $2 to $4 per square foot to properly light a space with good quality lighting inside and out. Spend $5 or $10 a square foot for a show quality space. Another way to look at it would be at least 1% of the value of the home should be invested in the lighting to make it shine. Builders usually spend less than $1 per square foot and a small fraction of 1% of the value. It's why we end up with so few examples of good lighting to learn from. There are lots of little tips and guidelines everyone should use when designing proper lighting levels. I won't cover every individual point on this slide, but these tips are all available in supplemental training materials. Just ask. Instead, I'd like to point out specifically the chandelier advice I just mentioned. Don't let a focal, expensive crystal chandelier illuminate the room. The chandelier itself should be providing almost no light to the room. The brighter the chandelier bulbs, the more glare they'll cause, and the less beautiful the chandelier will appear. Instead, dim down the crystal fixture to a soft glow and supply other light to make the crystal shimmer and sparkle from hidden recessed aperture lights. Add standard downlights to illuminate the individual dining table settings so the chandelier can be kept dim. Control all the lights on separate dimmers to create wonderful ambiance. Lighting a dining room with the crystal chandelier causes glare, and it actually dulls the drama and impact of such an investment. But you can see that if you dim the crystal down and provide other lighting spread around the room instead, the beauty of the room is enhanced considerably. This is the effect of better lighting design, and it increases the value of everything designers do. So to summarize my top 5 lighting design tips. First, lighting is about creating contrast, not necessarily brightness. Too much light in one place can be as bad as having no light at all. LED is the way to go, but know what you're getting into. Hire an electrician to add the right fixtures, outlets, and controls, and have a sufficient budget and a plan from the beginning. As always, thank you for watching.